What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto becomes Shinigami from Kami? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. Cave of Ceiling Konohagakure no Sato. Minato Namikaze, I will kill you. Once I get out from this fucking bed I will definitely kill you for putting me in this situation, you moron. Came voice of a redhead woman who is lying on rocky platform what seems like a bed. Now Kushina-chan, just keep pushing, it will be over soon. Came voice of a shitlessly scared man who has yellow spiky gravity defying blonde hair, blue azure eyes, wearing standard Konoha Junin flask jacket, blue shinobi pants, blue forehead protector with leaf symbol, standard shinobi sandals with a short-sleeved long white haori closed in front by a thin orange rope. Said haori is decorated by red flames licking lower part of haori and kanji of 4th Hokage, written vertically downwards from neck. What do you know, what I am going through, you baka cage? Yelled the red-headed woman now known as Kushina. Kushina has a slender but feminine build, fair skin, violet eyes, fiery red hair that fell down to her ankles. She is wearing high-collared short-sleeved dress with shinobi sandals. Now Kushina-chan, relax, and he wasn't able to finish his statement as another voice interrupted. Hokage-sama. Said voice belongs to the female medic ninja who is attending Kushina. Hokage-sama, it's a boy. Kushina-sama has given birth to a healthy boy, said medic. Tears started to form in Minato's eyes. Do you hear that, Kushina-chan, it's a boy. You have done it, now we are a family. I am a father, it's all because of you. Thank you, Kushina-chan, now we are not alone anymore, we have a family, a son, said Minato in shocked voice. Only answer he received is a slight nod from a quilly emotional Kushina. So Minato-kun, what should we name him? Do you have any ideas, Databane? Asked Kushina happily. You are very excited, aren't you? But yeah, I have. I can see he will becoming an amazing shinobi. Even better than both of us. I will teach him everything I know and mold him into a person who cares for his village and comrades more than anything, and who knows he may even become Hokage someday. Namikaze Naruto. Kushina facepalmed but soon smiled at the name Minato gave to their child. Just leave it to you to name our son after topping of ramen. But I promise you, Naruto-kun, that I will not let anything harm you. I will give you all the love that I always wanted in my childhood. That's a promise of a lifetime, Databane, thought Kushina. You can come out now, said Minato, his voice very cold and devoid of any emotions. I am impressed. Even while using my best stealth technique you are able to sense me. You truly are a genius, Yondaime Hokage. Said new voice as a figure appeared Foma Vortex. Who are you, and how did you find this place? Are you working for Iwa or Kumo? Answer me or I will kill you right where you are standing. Said Minato in same deadly and cold voice. My name is Uchiha Madara and you may know me as one of the founding fathers of Konoha, and I am here for her, said Madara, pointing his index finger towards Kushina. What, Uchiha Madara? It can't be, you cannot be Uchiha Madara, he is dead. Shodai Hokage-sama killed him in Valley of the End. He said frantically. Oh, I am very much alive, I can assure you that. That fool Hashirama never killed me. He thought he did, but I survived. It just took me a bit long to get back in top shape, that's all, Madara smugly replied. Well then I will just have to finish what Shodai-sama started all those years ago, Minato said, drawing the Hiraishin kunai from kunai pouch. You are more than welcome to try, but I don't you will be able to land even a single hit, Madara said in monotone. We will see, Minato replied and disappeared in a yellow flash only to appear behind Madara with Rasengan in hand. Madara didn't even move a muscle, just stood there unmoving with an amused smirk on his face, not that anyone could see it because of his face covered in an orange spiral mask. His smirk grew even wider as he saw Minato's shocked expression when said men's Rasengan passed through his body like it's not even there. What the hell, my Rasengan passed through his body, but how a genjutsu? No, my genjutsu seal is still inactive. That means a hologram. He was pulled out of his stupor by an excruciating pain in his right leg. Looking down he saw a kunai embedded just above his kneecap. Pain is real, so he is not a hologram. That can only means one thing, a spacetime ninjutsu. But I have never heard about a jutsu by which user can dematerialize himself on his will, he thought. You can't hit me, just give up, Madara said smirking. We will see about that. I will just have to wait until that spacetime ninjutsu of yours drop. Minato replied. Madara's visible eye widened at Minato's quick access of situation. What the he figured that out just by a single move. No wonder you are called a genius, Namikaze Minato. You figured that out rather quickly. I will give you that, but I don't have time to play with you anymore. Madara replied and started walking towards Kushina's bed. I don't think so. Uzumaki Hijutsu. Ain no Juryoku, Uzumaki Secret Arts. Eternal Gravitation, yelled Minato as he slammed both of his hands in ground. An area near Madara starts to glow light blue before crumbling into dust. Jutsu don't on me, Namikaze Minato, came Madara's voice from other side of the room. You can't stop me, not with your current skill, just sit back and watch the show. He closed his left eye and opened again, but instead of regular black eye it's blood red with pinwheel pattern in it. TT, that's Mangekyo Sharingan. So you really are Uchiha Madara, since he is the only one in history of Uchiha clan who has that eye. Tsukuyomi. Spiritual world of darkness, called Madara as red chakra starts to seep out of Kushina body. What have you done? Yelled Minato. Nothing much, I am very bored since you are not much of a challenge, so I released the fox. I hope you don't mind, I will return it after some time, he replied. Red chakra continues to leak out of her body and stars to take form. 1 tail, 2 tail. In just 1 minute all 9 tails are formed, and just like that chakra vanished like it's not there from the beginning. And a huge blast of killing intent. Key from now, flooded whole area near Konohagakure no Sato. So that's why you came here, to unleash 9-tailed demon fox on village. Tears freely falling from his eyes as he watched his wife's lifeless body lies on stone platform. If it takes that much time for you to figure out, then you are not as much of a genius as people say you are, Madara said in a monotone voice. Well, I should be going now. Well, we will meet again if you survived this, said Madara and disappeared in vortex again. Minato starts walking towards Kushina lifeless body. Many emotions flashed across his still teary eyes, but most evident are pain and regret. Pain or losing his wife, and regret that he was not strong enough to protect his wife and mother of his newborn son. Hokage-sama, came voice from entrance of the cave. He didn't even turn around to see who it is and replied. What is it? Kakashi, now named Kakashi, replied. It's 9-tailed fox, it's near front gates of the village, sensei. Minato took a deep breath and said, I am coming, go ahead, I will be there in a minute. Hi Hokage-sama, replied Kakashi and disappeared in a leaf shunshin. Forgive me Kushina, it looks like we both won't be here for our son as we promised. But I can't kill that fox, and have to resort on that jutsu. I just hope that our village looks our son as a hero who holds Kyuubi at bay and saves each and every one of them from demon fox every day. Thought Minato as he walks up to pram in which Naruto is sleeping soundly. He scooped his little frame in his hands and also leaves by Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God technique. Did you sense that, Satoshi-san? Asked a middle-aged man, in regular Konoha Junin attire. Hi Raiko-san, it's coming from Cave of Ceiling and it's exactly like, trailed of Satoshi. Yeah, it's Kyuubi's Yuki, inform head Taiko immediately, ordered Raiko. On it Raiko-san, said Satoshi as he left the room. Basement level 2, commanding office. Kato Taiko, a huge chakra signature is detected from Cave of Ceiling, said Satoshi as he came blasting through front door. What? Find out to whom this chakra belongs to and report back, ordered the head of Barrier and Infiltration Department Urahara Kato. We already did Taiko, it's Kyuubi's Yuki, there is no doubt about it. And it's increasing at a very high speed. What are our orders? Replied Satoshi. Inform Anbu headquarters fast, they must have sensed Kyuubi's Yuki. Go, ordered Kato. Hi Taiko, replied Satoshi as he disappeared in leaf shunshin. Ox, lion, tiger, said Kato as 3 individuals dressed in full Anbu attire, dropped from ceiling of the room. Orders Taichu, chored all 3 of them, at the same time. Ox, go to Sarutobi compound and, inform Sandame-sama about the situation. Then head to contact and response headquarters, and help them evacuate all the civilians from the village hall. Ordered Kato. Hi Taiko, said Ox, masked Anbu and disappeared in leaf shunshin. Lion, inform village guards about this, and seal all exits of the village. Do not let any civilian enter or exit village until further notice, said Kato. Hi Taiko, said Lion and disappeared in traditional leaf shunshin. Tiger, gather seal, squirrel and rabbit. And meet me at Alpha Point, we are going to put a barrier around the village. said Kato as Tiger also disappeared in Leaf Shunshin. Hitomi, Kato shouted as a young woman maybe about 14, with brown hair and black eyes came into room. Hide Taiko, Hitomi said timidly. Gather all members present in HQ at the moment, we are going to need as many hands on deck as possible. Kato said as Hitomi also leaves the room. Minato, what the hell is happening? I thought you have this all planned out, thought Kato as he started moving towards Alpha Point to put up the barrier. Sarutobi Compound, Konohagoroar no Sato. Sandaime Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen was sitting in his study, giggling perversely like a schoolgirl, and donating blood from his nose to his carpet, trust me, not a good sight to see, while reading the all-so-famous orange book commonly known ICHA Paradise. He was brought out of his stupor when he sensed a massive killer intent so potent that his own looks like a genin's. Sandaime-sama, came Ox's voice as he appeared in Hiruzen's study. Ox, what the hell is happening out here? Asked Sandaime in his Kami no Shinobi mode. Hi Sandaime-sama, the barrier and infiltration has detected a huge spike of Kyuubi's chakra from Cave of Ceiling. Since Yondaime-sama is not here, you are the only one who can lead our shinobi forces. Very well, gather all genin and chunin and evacuate all civilians to safe house at Nara River. That is the only place which can stand a Baiju's attack, said Sandaime as Ox once again disappeared in poof of smoke. Dog, crow, said Sandaime as two Anbu dropped from the ceiling of the house. Orders Sandaime-sama, both Anbu said at the same time. Dog, go to Cave of Ceiling, and find out what happened there. Also inform Minato about this whole mess, said Hiruzen as dog masked Anbu bowed respectfully and disappeared in a poof of smoke. As for you crow, gather all Junin and meet me at front gate of the village, said Hiruzen as crow masked Anbu leaved in a flock of crow. I hope you both are all right, Minato-kun, Kushina-chan, thought Sandaime as he changed into his battle armor. Let's get this over with. 2 minutes later at front gate of Konohagakure no Sato. How many Junin we currently have in village? Asked Sandaime to the Junin commander of the village. At the moment there are about 350 Junin in village, most of the high level are out on missions. Outside Land of Fire, said Junin commander Nara Shikaku, head of Nara clan. Hiruzen gritted his teeth, nearly 80% of village's military force is outside Hai no Kuni, Land of Fire. This will not end up well. How about Anbu operatives, how many you have right now? Asked Hiruzen. Not many, Sandaime-sama, nearly 250-300 at the most, said Anbu commander in bear mask. Then there is only one choice, we have to stall Kyuubi until Minato-kun arrives, said Hiruzen with a bit of anger in his voice. I know Sandaime-sama, we only have nearly 10% of our total forces. But we cannot just depend on Yondaime-sama alone. Nara Shikaku replied, a bit annoyed by previous leader's submissive tone. That's not what I am saying, Shikaku. As we all know, a Baiju is nothing but a gigantic mass of chakra with consciousness, so they are immortal, we cannot kill them. Sealing them is the only option, we have to stall until Minato-kun arrives with new host of Kyuubi. Explains Hiruzen. Only a newborn can become a Jinchuriki, so that's why Yondaime-sama is not here, he is searching for a new host, said bear-masked Anbu commander. Hiruzen sacked his head from side to side. No, both of you knew Minato very well. Do you think he will ask a random civilian family if he can't to sacrifice their child? He can prevent that from happening. Both Junin and Anbu commanders' eyes widened as they realize what Sandaime is saying. By the looks on your face, I think you know what is going to happen now. Both of you were present when Minato and Kushina were getting married today. As Kushina's due date, maybe because of the childbirth, Mito-sama seal got weakened and Kyuubi escaped. As far as I know, Minato, he will use his own child for sealing ritual, Hiruzen said with remorse in his voice. Both commander lowered their heads as they know what the child will be facing while growing up. Sandaime-sama, all Junin and Anbu are here and waiting for your orders, said crow-masked Anbu. Let's go, we can't do anything just by standing here, said Hiruzen as all of them disappeared in Leaf Shunshin. My fellow Konoha shinobi, today we are facing a very grave danger. Kyuubi no Kitsune is moving toward our village. And we are going to protect our village with our lives. We are going to show the whole world why Konoha is considered the strongest village in elemental nations. We will fight to protect our future, our friends, family, home. The will of fire can never be extinguished. We will fight until our last breath and we will win, Sandame Hokage said in his God of Shinobi mode. Cheers erupted as Sandame's speech ends. We nearly have 600 shinobi here. Divide yourselves in 4 groups. First strike group will contain Sweden users. I will lead them myself. Since Sweden can be used both offensive and defensive purposes, we will strike from the front. Second group will be made of Doden users. They will provide deans to front assault group and will also protect village from any wayward jutsu. Third group will be consists of Kaiden users. This group will attack from east side of forest of Konohagakure. After first assault they will fall back and will join main assault squad. Fourth group will consists of Raiden users and this group will attack from the west side of forest of Konohagakure. This group will also fall back after initial strike and will join first group. Any questions? Silence reigned. Nobody dared to argue Shinobi no Kami's orders. In about 5 minutes Kyuubi will be here, so second group form as many defensive walls around the village as you can, ordered Sandame, and all Doden users stated to do hand seals. Doden. Udaina Doriheki no Jutsu, Earth Release. Majestic Earth Wall, shouted nearly 125 shinobi at the same time, and hundreds of mud wall can be seen surrounding the whole village like a cocoon. Very well, all groups take your positions and wait for the signal, said Sandame, and second and third group disappeared to their positions. 5 minutes for Konoha shinobi was like centuries. And finally Kyuubi no Kitsune finally reached the main gates of Konohagakure no Sato with 9 majestic tails waving hypnotically. Sandame-sama, it's time, said Shukaku. Yeah, activate the signal, ordered Sandame, and Bear started making hand seals when he stopped. A blinding light shot from his mouth signaling all shinobi that the assault has begun. Everyone at once, Sandame shouted, and shinobi of first group started going through hand seals. Sweden. Suiryuden no Jutsu, Water Release. Water Dragon Bullet Technique, shouted all the members of first group as hundreds of water dragon long towards the great Kitsune. The frontal assault has begun now, it's our turn, let's do it, leader of third and fourth group shouted, and shinobi from both group also started going through hand seals. Kaiden. Karyu Enden no Jutsu, Fire Release. Fire Dragon Flame Bullet Technique, shouted all the members of third group as hundreds of fire dragon long towards Kyuubi from the east side of the forest. Fourth group soon followed their example and released their own jutsu. Raiden. Raiju Suiga, Lightning Release. Lightning Beast Tracking Fang. All attacks hit their respective target and shinobi from all groups started cheering like fangirls. But their cheering stopped as a blast of raw yuki cleared the smoke and reveled a unscraced Kitsune. Who is charging another owl of yuki between its tail? Fall back and regroup at main gate, ordered leader of third and fourth group, and shinobi of the respective groups started to fall back towards village's main gate. Not even a single scratch. How the hell are we supposed to defeat that thing? Shouted a shinobi. Many soon followed. Hold your courage, this is not over until even a single one of us is alive. Will of fire will not extinguish, we will fight until our last breath, roared Sandame. Begin going through a set of hand seals. Doden. Ichimaiwa Jishin no Jutsu, Earth Release. Monolithic Earthquake, shouted Sandame, and placed both his hands on ground as it begun to shake violently and crumbled beneath Kyuubi. All shinobi present started cheering as Kyuubi lost its footing and falls in the crater created by Sandame. But it does not last very lost as Sandame started to collapse in his place. Many shinobi started to move towards Sandame to prevent him from collapsing, but were beaten by a man sitting on top of an orange frog. You shouldn't use Shodem-sama Kinjutsu in your age, sensei, said the unknown men from top of the frog. JJJ Jiraiya K Kun Yyua Ri El Latee Agin, said Sandame, barely conscious. Take some rest, sensei, I will handle the rest, now named Jiraiya said. Make sure v il age is stillt here ww when I whack ye up, Sandem replied before losing consciousness. Sandame-sama, shouted many shinobi as their leader lost consciousness. Don't worry, he is just unconscious, this old monkey will not die this easily, Jiraiya said while giggling. Jiraiya-sama, thank goodness you are here, Shikaku said. Of course you are, and started dancing on top of his toad while introducing himself. All the shinobi present their sweat dropped at Jiraiya's introduction. Jiraiya, a big man standing 6 feet 3, about 38 years old, with red flask jacket with fishnet suit underneath, wearing a custom headband with oil written in kanji, white-haired and wearing gata sandals, with a big scroll strapped on his back. "Jiraiya-sama, you do remember we are in middle of a battle?" asked Denbu commander. "Of course I do. Now take sensei somewhere safe, I will deal with the damn foe," said Jiraiya, but was cut off as a ball of Yuki hit the defensive wall of the village, killing nearly 3/4 of the shinobi present. And 1/4 of the village. "Fuck, I should have paid attention," thought Jiraiya. "Jiraiya-sama, what should we do now? Nearly 50 shinobi are left," asked Shikaku worriedly. "Fall back, I will take care of things from here," shouted Jiraiya and summoned another toad. "Kachiyose no jutsu gamabunta. Summoning jutsu, gamabunta." "Jiraiya, you pervert, why do you summon me here for?" roared Gamabunta. "We don't have time for this now, Gamabunta, please distract Kyuubi until I prepare my jutsu," Jiraiya said in unnaturally serious tone. "Very well, but I won't be able to hold it for more than half a minute," said Gamabunta. "Kage Bunshin no jutsu. Shadow clone jutsu," said Jiraiya and formed 3 shadow clone. "Okay guys, take your positions, we don't have much time to do it." All shadow clone nodded and head to their assigned positions. All 3 shadow clone took their positions and started going through hand seals. "Gamabunta, release yourself." Gamabunta nodded and disappeared in a poof of smoke. As the smoke disappeared, all Jiraiya stopped their hand seals and put their hands on ground and shouted, "Doden! Yami Numa! Earth release! Swamp of Underworld!" A swan is created in 1 mile radius around Kyuubi and started to consume it wholly. "Man, I am spent. I never thought it will take that much chakra to create 3 shadow clones and using Yami Numa with them," said Jiraiya. "You did it, Jiraiya-sama, you defeated the demon Yo." But they were interrupted as a massive amount of Yuki was shot from the swamp that devoured the Kyuubi. "What, I have never seen someone breaking free from that jutsu just by overpowering it," thought Jiraiya. But he was brought to the world of living as he sees a ball of Yuki coming straight towards him. "So this is it, huh? Honorable way of going, fighting the enemy much stronger than yourself. At least my story ending just like I thought. Maybe I am not a sore loser after all," thought Jiraiya as he closed his eyes waiting for the pain, but it never come. "I can't let you die this early, sensei. Who is going to take care of Naruto-kun after me?" asked Minato as he put Jiraiya down and started walking towards Kyuubi. "Now you damn fox, say goodbye to world once again, you are going back in seal," roared Minato while making cross-finger had seal. "Konohagakure no Sato front gate. I can't let you die this early, sensei. Who is going to take care of Naruto-kun after me?" asked Minato as he put Jiraiya down and started walking towards Kyuubi. "Now you damn fox, say goodbye to world once again, you are going back in seal," roared Minato while making cross-finger had seal. "Minato, maybe we can still win this," thought Jiraiya while seeing his prized pupil on the battlefield. "It was nice knowing you, sensei. But this will be the last time we will face an enemy together," exclaimed Minato. "What the hell are you talking about, am I?" Then it clicked to him what his student going to do, by seeing a newborn child on his back. "You are going to use that jutsu, aren't you, Minato Gaki, and is that—" Jiraiya trailed off, knowing pretty well whose child he has on his back. "That is the only way. As you can see, we can't defeat Kyuubi. It's not known as immortal Baiju for nothing, you know," said Minato while cluckling at the last part. "And yes, this child I am holding is mine and Kushina's. I can't burden any civilian child, if I am not willing to do same with my own, can I, sensei? Take good care of my son, sensei, and teach him everything that you have taught me. Just don't turn him into a pervert like you. I am passing my son's responsibility to you, after all you are his godfather." "I will not disappoint you, Minato," said Jiraiya. "I know, sensei," said Minato warmly while looking at his sensei. "But now let's end this." "Kage Bunshin no jutsu. Shadow clone technique," Minato shouted, and in a puff of smoke 20 exact replica was standing in front of Yondaime. "You know what to do, guys, on with it," ordered real Minato as his clones saluted and divided themselves in 2 groups to perform their tasks. Real Minato threw a Hiraishin Kanai before going through a set of hand seals and shouted, "Kage Kanai no jutsu. Shadow Kanai technique." 1 Kanai multiplied into 50 and scattered across the battlefield. Kyuubi roared, exhaled, and started trashing its 9 tails to get rid of pesky clone. "Let's see how you deal with this," shouted Minato, and disappeared in a yellow flash, only to appear next to the hind limbs of Great Beast with a blue ball of spiraling energy in his right hand. "Odama Rasengan, Big ball spiraling sphere, shouted Minato while drilling ball of chakra, due to which the great beast roared in pain. What the fuck, not even a scratch, this is not going to be easy, thought Minato while giving signal to his clone to perform their own part. That's the signal, let's go guys, said leader of first group. While taking their positions around rampaging Baiju. Let's see how you deal with this bastard, said clone 1 while going through hand seals with other clones of first group. Uzumaki Hijutsu, Ain no Juryoku. Uzumaki Secret Arts, Eternal Gravitation. All clones shouted and pounded their hands on ground as it started to glow and crumbled beneath Kyuubi due to increased gravity. Alright guys, hold the jutsu until I, said Minato, but was cut off due to gigantic amount of chakra releasing from the great beast. This is not good, it's charging Bijudama, if this hits there will be no Konoha on the map of elemental nations, he thought. Return to village gate and put up a barrier now, Minato ordered, and all shadow clone of first unit disappeared in a yellow flash. All clones of Unit 1 appeared in front of village gate and started going through a set of hand seals before placing their hands on ground and shouted. Uzumaki Hijutsu, Goso Aramentaru Barrier, Uzumaki Secret Arts, 5-layer elemental barrier. And a nearly 60-foot barrier of different color came into existence, covering the whole village in a protective dome. I just hope the barrier is strong enough to take a straight hit from Bijudama or we are doomed, thought the leader of clone unit. Few minutes earlier, Hokage monument on Yondaimi's head. A lone figure can be seen sitting on top of Yondaimi's head with his Mangekyo Sharingan blazing and looking and enjoying his handiwork. It looks like you are enjoying the show, came a heavy voice out of nowhere. The reason I came here is because Nagato has found some pretty useful people for our objective and wants you to do some background check on them. Masked man didn't even turn to see who is it and replied, alright, give me their profiles and current locations, I will do their background check later. As he said this, a figure came out of ground, wearing same attire as his companion, black cloak with red clouds, but the most striking feature about this man is that his head is black in color on right side and white on left. It is also enclosed between two Venus flytrap-like extensions coming out from his upper part of his cloak, and he has yellow eyes and short green hair. He is also wearing a ring on his right hand's middle finger with kanji of Gai, Bor, on it. Hereby profiled they look pretty useful, said black part of flytrap men. Yeah, I agree, but the main problem is will you be able to manipulate them? White part chimed in and handed over the sack of paper to the man still lounging on the stone head. Madara took the sack of paper and started going through profiles of different individuals and their abilities. So what do you think? Asked the white part of flytrap. Madara nodded his head and said, yeah, Hoshigaki Kisame, Kakuzu, Sasori of Red Sand and Tsubaki Biwa, these are some interesting people and will be easy to manipulate. You sure I understand about Kakuzu with his money obsession and Sasori since he wants strong corpses which we can provide because of our goal. But I don't think the other two will be willing to join us easily, White half said while looking at the fighting going on the outskirts of village. Madara just waved his hand dismissively before saying, you worry too much Zetsu, well you are right about first two. But when my plans with Mizu no Kuni starts, last two will be more than willing to join us. As far as I know, Kisame is not much liked in Kiri and is treated like outcast because of his sentinel sword and its control over him. Same way Tsubaki also does not have any ties with village because of his parents' assassination by council and his unique Kekkei Genkei bloodline limit. If you don't have any problem with them, then I don't have either. One more thing, Pain is going to assault AIM in few hours and wants you to follow your part of the deal, said now named Zetsu. Tell him I will be there, but for now let's just enjoy the show, Madara said, still not taking his eyes off the fight. Very well, but we should get out of here before that Bijudama hits and left us in a streaming mess, Black Zetsu said. Don't fret about it, as far as I know Namikaze Minato, he will not let the village get destroyed. Front gate. All the shinobi who are still conscious gulped, seeing a ball of concentrated chakra coming right towards them. Do you think his barrier will be able to survive a hit from Bijudama? Jiraiya asked to leader of clone unit. If it was some different barrier then I would say we are fucked, but it's a special barrier I learned from Mito-sama's personal library, so don't worry about it, sensei, Clone Minato said with a reassuring smile. Alright guys, pour every bit of chakra you can without dispelling yourself, ordered leader of clone squad. And all clones poured large amount of chakra in the barrier and it started to glow. Everyone's gulped as the mighty Bijudama was about to came in contact with the barrier and moved a bit further from the barrier. Alright guys, it's time, pump your chakra in your feet and don't lose your ground or everyone will be dead before we even blink. Everyone ready? Asked the boss clone and received a hi. On count of 3 we are going to initiate the barrier. 1. Bijudama keeps coming closer towards the barrier. 2. All the clones exhaled slowly and formed a tiger seal and waited for their order. 3. All the clone chored at the same time before shouting go so Aramentaru barrier, Kai. The barrier started glowing once again when Bijudama came in contact with barrier surface. For a few seconds nothing happened and then suddenly a blinding white light filled the whole area. The light is so bright that everyone in the radius of few kilometers were forced to close their eyes or risk getting blind and then a large explosion violently shook the earth around Konoha, which results in demolition of many buildings. When the smoke cleared, the only reason people can say that it's still Konoha was because of Hokage Monument and buildings away from the entrance which are left standing. The barrier which protected all the people inside was still standing but with more than 100 human-sized holes on it. And through the holes path of destruction can be seen. Whole front wall and front gate was in rubble and a massy crater can be seen outside of the barrier. Nearly every shinobi present is either unconscious or dead. Is everyone already GHT? Asked leader of barrier unit receiving a faint hi from remaining clones. We each have to CC complete the seal, he ordered weakly. All the clones released their tiger seal and placed their hands on their stomach before shouting go so Aramentaru barrier, Fuin. The barrier started to glow again before breaking into 10 different parts and started to get absorbed into then different clones. Once the barrier was fully gone, all clones dispelled themselves, giving their memories to the real Minato. With real Minato released his breath he was holding from nearly a minute. Once he gets all the memory from his clone. At least the village is still standing. Now I have to go and get Naruto-kun from Jiraiya-sensei, he thought. Alright everyone, the village is safe and I am going to get Naruto-kun from sensei. No matter what happened, don't let the jutsu drop, ordered Minato to his remaining clones who are still pumping their chakra in gravity jutsu. He crossed his fingers before shouting, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, shadow clone technique, and 10 clones came into existence and saluted at Minato for their orders. Alright you guys, keep that furball busy and don't let it create another Bijudama. I don't have enough chakra to perform that sealing jutsu again, he said before disappearing in a yellow flash, leaving his clones to deal with oversized kitsune. Minato yellow flashed back at the village gate, or what is left of it. He looked around to see all the damage front part of village has suffered. Nearly every structure in front part is reduced to rubble and bodies of unconscious or dead shinobi littered the whole place. He was bought out of his musing by a familiar call of Minato. He looked to his right and saw a badly bruised Jiraiya limping towards him. Jiraiya-sensei, are you alright? He asked worriedly. Not so old pervert nodded his head before dropping his Hari Jizo, ninja art. Needle Jizo, and showing an unharmed Naruto wrapped in his hair. Do you really have to do this? He asked his prized pupil, not really liking what's going to happen next. There are many jutsu to seal a tailed beast, then why do you want to use this one? Asked nearly old Coot. Minato frowned. I know there are many jutsu for sealing a tailed beast sensei, but I don't have the amount of chakra and time to do that. He paused a bit before continuing, even though I am a seal master I won't be able to maintain the whole process alone. Kushina once told me that it took 20 seal masters to maintain the seal when Kyuubi was sealed inside her. Minato paused again before looking towards Naruto in his sensei's arms. And with this seal I will be able to help Naruto-kun in future when he tries to gain control over Kyuubi's chakra. And I will be able to meet my son once again in future. Minato ended his explanation with a soft smile. So you have decided to seal Kyuubi in your son, came an aged voice of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sensei, what are you doing out here? We sent you to the safe house, Jiraiya asked from his old sensei. Well, can't expect me to just lay down and watch all of you lay down your lives for village, replied Hiruzen. Well, that is correct, and to answer your first questions, yes, I am going to seal Kyuubi in Naruto-kun. That's the only way to save everyone, he finished with a sad smile. Hiruzen frowned and lowered his head so that his eyes are no longer in view. Do you know what you are about to do to your own son? You know how Jinchuriki are treated in our world. Even Mito-sama was shunned by many villagers even after knowing that she was Shodem-sama's wife. Kushina-kun was badly treated in her childhood. You are basically throwing your newborn child in front of a pack of wolves. And they won't hesitate to devour him whole. You know that, don't you? You are about to throw him in hell without him committing any sin. Danzo will definitely try to turn him into a mindless weapon. No matter how much we try to keep it a secret, there are people who will try to make his life miserable living hell. Do you still want to do it? Questioned Sandame with the edge of anger in his voice. Sensei WH, Minato interrupted as Jiraiya started to speak. I know what I am doing here is Sama, but I trust this village. I have traveled many nations. But I wasn't able to find more understanding people than here. I know they will understand and will treat him as a hero that he truly is. I know that he will be a great shinobi in future and I will be watching him from above. He replied, still looking at Naruto's sleeping form in his arm. You know that is fool's dream, Minato. The curse of hatred is not easy to break. I have witnessed what man can do when blinded by hatred. They will not see him as a child. Hell, they will not even see him as a human. To them he will be a scapegoat, a thing on which they can release their pent-up anger. Have you seen the state of village when civilian will see this? Who do you think they will blame? In hope of harm Kyuubi, they will try to hurt him. He will be shunned wherever he go. And without love of parents, do you think he will be able to stay sane? Sighed Sandame. Why, you have to believe in our people that they will be able to look above their hate. And will see him as a hero. Minato tried to reassure old Hokage, but the way he was talking, it was more to assure himself. Tell me you don't really believe that shit, Minato? Hiruzen roared, his eyes burning with anger and disappointment. He took a deep breath to calm himself down. He will not gain anything by getting angry. If sealing Kyuubi is the only method, then perform it on me, he said, socking both Jiraiya and Minato. Minato looked at old Hokage before saying, you are too old for the procedure, Hiruzen-sama. And only an Uzumaki can survive procedure, if not a newborn. I know what I am doing, and this is the only law to save village, if we like it or not. You are not going to change your decision, are you? Hiruzen asked, only getting a slow nod in response. Alright, I will do everything in my power to give him a normal life, he ended solemnly. Their attention was brought back to battlefield when a number of explosions rocked the earth beneath their feet. It looks like my clones are doing their job perfectly, said Minato before turning back and looking towards his longtime friend and mentor. It looks like this will be the last time we will be seeing each other. Sensei, take good care of my Naruto, only getting a weak nod in return from still silent Jiraiya. Don't look so down, Sensei, maybe we will meet again in future if any one of you are fool enough to use Shiki Fujin, Death God Summoning, Reaper Death Seal, he said with a small laugh which was not shared by his companion. Until next time, guys, he said before disappearing in a flash. Hiruzen looked at his pupil, who was silent during this whole conversation. So you are going to take Naruto-kun's responsibility? I don't know, Sensei, I really don't know. To be blunt, I really don't want to see him. He will keep reminding me about Minato. Maybe after some time I will be ready, but I really can't take him with me right now. Hiruzen nodded his head slowly. He understand what his student is going through right now. He felt the same when Orochimaru abandoned Konoha few minutes earlier. With clone unit. Man, how are we going to deal with this shit? Boss always leave us with tough shit, one of the clones grumbled. It can't be helped, boss can't begun sealing process without Sochi, second clone replied. Okay, listen guys, we are going to get behind Kyuubi and we'll hit him with Senjutsu-powered Odama Rasengan on its weakest spot. Another clone said, who seems to be leader of small squad. And where is this weak spot you talk about, oh great and mighty leader Sama? Asked first clone sarcastically to the apparent leader. Above-mentioned leader sighed and rubbed his temple in exasperation. Who are you thinking about, boss? While making this one, he is fucking irritating. Underneath its tails, he finally said. So basically we are going to shove our Rasengan into its ass. What a great plan you got there. At this point leader is shaking in rage while looking at personality fucked up clone before saying, you got a better plan than this, you bastard. Now shut the fuck up and start Gatering nature chakra. Before I shove my Rasengan so up your ass that it will come of your face, he roared and looking at his surrounding clone. What are you fuckers looking at? Start GATERING nature chakra before I lose my TEMPRE. All remaining clones cowered in fear before sitting down and started gathering Senjutsu chakra. After a few minutes all clones opened their eyes showing orange eyes without any pupil. All right, let's go, leader ordered. As every clone started forming Rasengan and continued channeling chakra into it until the compressed ball of chakra is twice in size of their head. All the clones disappeared in a flash and appeared on different parts of battlefield dogging its tail before until they reached their destination right underneath its tails and shout image at the same time. Odama Razan Terengan, big ball spiraling sphere barrage. Numerous explosions shook the whole clearing in which Kyuubi was roaring in pain because of devastating jutsu. Let's get the hell out of here, one of the clones shouted while other nodded. And disappeared in a flash. All clones appeared just in time as Minato arrived of the field with still sleeping Naruto in his arm peacefully. All right boss, just in time. What now? One of the clones asked. Form a circle around it and use that jutsu to incapacitate it, real Minato ordered before continuing. We can't let it trash around while sealing, it may disturb the seal and may harm Sochi as well. Even with that jutsu we won't be able to hold it for more than a few minutes. Minato nodded before saying, in few minutes it will be all over. All the clones nodded and started taking their positions. You ready Sochi? Minato said looking towards Naruto as he started opening his eyes and yawned cutely before giggling due to his father's hair tickling his small nose. Oh, you are up little guy the first. I'm sorry for all of this, we will meet again in future, be strong and protect everyone you care with your life. Minato leaned down placing him on hard ground. I will be over soon, don't worry. Minato stood up seeing his clones in their assigned spot before flaring his chakra as signal. And saw all of them started going through a set of hand seals before planting their hands and shouting. Uzumaki Hijutsu. Chakra Kusari, Uzumaki Secret Arts, Chakra Chains. Nearly 50 chains made of pure chakra shot out from earth and started binding Kyuubi and stopping it from making any kind of movement. We are done here boss, do it fast, it's very difficult to maintain all this chains. One clone shouted from his pals. Minato nodded and started doing hand seals stopping at Ram Seal and whispered, Shiki Fujin. Death God Summoning, Reaper Death Seal. Whole area around Konohagakure no Sato was flooded with immeasuring amount of killing intent. Air around the area became so cold that you can see all nearby leaves and small insects frozen solid by a layer of ice. Minato was gasping for breath. Even in third grade shinobi war he has never experienced killing intent this potent and powerful. He can see his death vision over and over again in his mind. Mortal, are you the one who summoned me in this world? Came a cold but female voice from behind Minato's kneeling form. His body stiffened and breathing became raged from hearing cold as an iceberg voice before he slowly turned his head and looked past his left shoulder to saw a female figure hovering in midair. She has a slender but feminine build, wearing a full-body white kimono, and ankle-length silver hair which seems to disappear in her kimono. She has a feminine face with a purple oni mask from which two golden soul-piercing eyes can be seen. She also has two silver horns on her head which enhance her demonic appearance. She is also wearing a black necklace from which black whips of energy can be seen emitting in every few seconds. A short sword or dagger can be seen in her right arm with a gourd-like container in her left hand. HHH-SS Shinigami-sama, he stuttered out meekly. And can you blame him? He is staring straight into eyes of Death God. Cold golden eyes which holds no mercy for any soul, same eyes every living being saw before getting his or her judgment. For what reason have you summoned me, mortal? She said in same cold monotone voice devoid of any emotions. Hi, he took a deep breath to calm his nerves a bit before starting again. As you can see, Shinigami-sama, my village Konoha is under attack by one of the Biju Kyuubi no Kitsune. Even though I was able to stop it from further destroying my village, I am not capable of killing it or don't have enough chakra and resources to seal it safely. As a last resort I have summoned you here to seal the rampaging Biju once again. Minato finished with a slow exhale. You know the payment of using this jutsu? She asked and continued after saw him nodding in agreement. Very well, I will help you sealing Kyuubi no Kitsune again, but the procedure needs a human sacrifice in which it's going to get sealed. She finished in same monotone. Minato nodded. Of course Shinigami-sama. He gestured at the newborn who is still laying on the ground and staring curiously at hovering figure of death god. He is the human. Sacrifice my son Namikaze Naruto. He gritted last part out. Shinigami looked at the child curiously. Do you know what you are asking me to do and to your own child? Minato just lowered his head and nodded his head. I have seen how Jinchuriki are treated from the first one until now. Do you really want to do this? Hi Shinigami-sama, I am fully aware of the treatment Jinchuriki receive. But I have faith in my village that they will be able to see above their hate and will see him as a hero that he truly is. He snickered a bit thinking about something Jiraiya told him very long time ago. My sensei always used to tell me that I am the child of prophecy and will bring true peace to this land. Now that I think about it, the only thing I bring to this world is more pain. But while looking at my son I can see him doing many great things. I was never the child of prophecy Sensei talked about, but I am sure I am looking to the destined one right now, he said with a small smile on his face, still not taking his eyes away from Naruto. Child of prophecy, can this child be the one Amaterasu Ne-sama always talked about? His life certainly hold much more importance than most of the people living this village. Just by living he holds lives of thousands of ninja living in this village. Maybe, just maybe, he is the one who will bring all 7 pieces together, she thought, still eyeing the boy curiously. I beg you Shinigami-sama, please help me in sealing Kyuubi, Minato begged while bowing towards hovering deity. Shinigami nodded her head. Very well, she said, pointing her dagger towards him before plunging it into his heart. Receiving a startled gasp from Minato. Shinigami-sama, he stuttered out weakly. Did you forget the cost of summoning me and using this incomplete contract, she coldly stated, before retracting her dagger from his heart, with the astral form of Minato sticking on its end. Once the soul is finally free, Minato's body fell limply on the ground. What is this? He gasped, seeing his own body limply lying in front of him. I have extracted your soul from your mortal body. Now if you will excuse me, I have some work to do. She hovered next to Naruto and placed a hand on his belly before whispering, Ki no Shi, energy of death. Black whips of energy started swirling around Naruto, before shooting straight towards Kyuubi. Once the black energy fully covered around Kyuubi, it started dragging gigantic fox towards Naruto's still form. Stay strong, it will be over soon, she said to no one in particular. Once Kyuubi's form was in her reach, she placed her other hand on its paw and said, Fuin. Whole area was engulfed in white light and the only thing anyone can hear is cries of a baby. Once the light died down, she was still hovering above Naruto's form, contemplating about something. Finally, it's over, Minato said. Thank you very much Shinigami-sama. She didn't responded to Minato's word and kept her eyes on Naruto, before materializing a white dagger in her hand, and stared at it for a moment before nodding to herself like conforming something, before plunging said dagger in Naruto's head and ignoring shout of Shinigami-sama coming from Minato. Minato looked on in horror as Shinigami killed his newborn son. Rage and hatred begun boiled in him, seeing his son's murderer still ignoring him. But before he could say or do anything, Death God sent a glare which shutted him up effectively. If you are worried about Naruto, don't be. He is perfectly fine. I just gave him a bit of my power to him for his survival, she said without even looking at the distressed father. Oh, I though UGHT. He took a deep breath to calm himself. But why? Why did you give him some of your power? He asked, very curious about Death God's action. She hovered back in his direction. That child is special, I can see that very clearly. Many lives depend on his. Just by living he is affecting everyone in your village. A gourd again appeared in her left hand. It's time to go, she said and opened the gourd and Minato's astral form got sucked in it. She stared at the new Jinchuriki for few more seconds before saying, we will meet again Namikaze Naruto. And just like that she faded out of human world. After a few minutes, 2 individuals can be seen running towards still crying Naruto. Jiraiya, there he is. Hiruzen shouted to gain his student's attention. Let's take him back to village. When Jiraiya didn't respond, he looked back to see his student looking blankly at Minato's body. Take your time Jiraiya and bring Minato-kun back to village when you are ready, old Hokage said, taking Naruto in his arms and took off towards village. On top of Yondaimi's head. So what now, your plan to destroy Hidden Leaf failed? Asked White Zetsu. while still looking at the area which was a battlefield a few seconds ago. Madara took a deep breath to calm himself down. Not even in his wildest dreams he would have thought that Minato is able to summon Death God to seal Kyuubi away. And in his own son ate that. Now he is regretting his decision not to kill that brat when he has the chance. We are not going to do anything. If we make a move now, then every nations will know about our existence, and we cannot let that happen. If they found out that we are after Jinchuriki, then we will be at war. And right now we are in no condition for a full-on war with any village. Right now the tension is very high between all hidden villages, so if we make any move we are not going to be facing a single village but all 5 of them," he said before disappearing in a vortex. "Well, we should be going as well. We have a meeting to attend after all," White Zetsu said, and sunk into ground without leaving any trace that anyone was here in the first place. 3 days later, council chamber. In a large enclosed room in which many figures can be seen sitting around an oval table, with Sandaime Hokage in front and surrounded by many clan heads and village elder. "I am right then, this meeting is about Kyuubi Jinchuriki?" Mitokado Homura asked. Homura is an elderly man in his early 50s with white hair and white beard. He has a green-rimmed glasses and wearing a white robe covering his whole body. Sarutobi sighed. "Yes Homura, you are correct, it's about Naruto-kun. Since all of you already know about his heritage and status, we will be discussing about his future living conditions. You will permit me, I would like to say something, Hokage-sama," Inuzuka Sume said. Inuzuka Sume has an animalistic look similar to every member of her clan. She is a beautiful woman in her early 20s. She has long, spiky, untamed brown hair, vertical slits like pupils, elongated canine teeth and nails. She also has fang-like markings on her cheeks and purple lipstick. She is wearing a stand ATD Konoha outfit consisting of Junin flask jacket with brown undershirt and brown pants. After receiving a nod from Hokage, she continued, "I would like to adopt Namikaze Naruto." As she said this, murmurs erupted from every member present in chamber. "Kushina was a very good friend of mine, and we promised each other if anything happened to any of us, then other will take responsibility for their offsprings." Before Hokage can even respond, an old man in his 50s responded, "We can't do that, Sume-san. If we give you village Jinchuriki, then other clan can see this as an insult of their clan, and will result in a full-force civil war, and this will give a chance to foreign powers to invade our village," Danzo said in a monotone, not paying any attention to Sume's growling. Danzo is a frail, old man. He has black saggy hair. His right eye is bandaged. He wore a white shirt, with a dark gray robe on top of it covering from his feet up to his shoulder. He also have a X-shaped scar on his chin and a cane resting near his feet. "I am very sorry, but I have to agree with Danzo on this matter. This can be seen as an act of partiality and can cause a civil war. That's why I think Naruto-kun's custody cannot be given to any clans," Sarutobi said rather solemnly. "I understand, Hokage-sama," Sume gritted out. "That's why I want to take Namikaze Naruto in my custody. He is a valuable asset to our village. And with right training he can be proved as a very useful and powerful weapon," Danzo said. Sarutobi lowered his head so that eyes cannot be seen before he replied in a very low and dangerous voice. "Naruto-kun is not a tool for our use, Danzo. And I will definitely not going to give you his custody so you can change him into a mindless drone." Everyone present in room gulped, hearing intensity in their letter's voice. "Do you have a better idea, Hiruzen?" Utatane Kaharu said. Kaharu is an old bat in her 50s. She has white hair pulled back in double bun locked by traditional Japanese hairpin, with 2 pearls dangling on sides. She is wearing a simple kimono held in its place by a obi and a jacket with a slash over it. "Yes, I do. I have decided to place him in an orphanage," Sandaime said, but stopped before continuing by seeing that head of Uchiha clan Uchiha Fugaku wanted to say something. "You have something to say, Fugaku-san?" Uchiha Fugaku is the head of famous Uchiha clan, one of the founding clans of Konohagakure. He has short black hair reaching down his shoulders and onyx-colored eyes. He is wearing a simple kimono with gray pants on which Uchiha crest can be seen. Fugaku nodded before saying, "Is it a good idea, Hokage-sama? If orphanage authorities find out that he is the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, then his life can be in danger. I have already considered that, Fugaku-san, that why I am going to put him in Golden Leaf Orphanage established by his mother," Sandaime said, and Fugaku nodded. "But that does leave one more problem. Danzo said in monotone but was seething inside. Minato was the last member of Namikaze clan. And if another one come out of nowhere on top of that, a newborn child, then this will arouse suspicion in our enemy, and if they found out that Naruto is Minato's son, then we are looking at fourth great shinobi war. Sarutobi nodded. He know full well what will happen if other nations found out about Naruto heritage. Minato have made many strong and powerful enemies in both physical and political ways, especially in Iwagakure and Kumogakure during Third Great Shinobi War. And to prevent any assassination attempt from happening, there is only one way. He sighed before replying, I know about that, Danzo. That's why I suggest we gave him his mother's maiden name. Until he is able to protect himself. Alright, we should vote now, Kaharu said, and everyone nodded. Uchiha Fugaku, head of Uchiha clan and member of Konoha Council, supports Hokage-sama decision. After Fugaku sat down, a man with shoulder-long black hair and featureless eyes stood up. He is wearing a simple white kimono with brown haori. I, Hyuga Hiyashi, head of Hyuga clan and member of Konoha Council, give my vote in favor of Hokage-sama. Hiyashi said in his usual stoic tone. I, Inuzuka Sume, head of Inuzuka clan and member of Konoha Council, also supports Hokage-sama's decision. Sume said sadly, not really liking Hokage's decision of not letting her adopt her best friend's son. It left a bad taste in her mouth. After a few seconds, when nobody spoke, everyone's attention turned towards the man sitting next to Sume, who is also snoring lightly. Everyone faced palmed while Akamichi Shuza, a tall, plump man with spiky red hair and purple marking on his cheek, he is wearing a samurai-like outfit with kanji of food on it, punched the sleeping man on his head. Wake up, Shikaku, he said while glaring daggers towards his longtime friend and teammate. Nara Shikaku is a man in his late 20s with 2 scars on right side of his face. Most noticeable feature about this man is his dark hair tied up in pineapple style. He has a black goatee and is wearing a mesh undershirt and a deer-skinned Junin flask jacket. Troublesome, he muttered before fully rising from the table and saying, I, Nara Shikaku, head of Nara clan Yan, supports Hokage-sama. He slumped on his chair once again before going back to his sleeping. While everyone's sweat dropped and shook their head. Alright, let's continue, Sandame said, still massaging his temple. I, Akamichi Shuza, head of Akamichi clan and member of Konoha Council, supports Hokage-sama's decision. I, Yamanaka Inoichi, head of Yamanaka clan and member of Konoha Council, also supports Hokage-sama's decision. Yamanaka Inoichi is a tall man in his late 20s. He has blonde hair tied in ponytail reaching his mid-back. He is wearing standard Konoha Junin cloths with red haori. What about you elders? Sarutobi asked with a smug smile, while glaring directly at Danzo. Since whole shinobi council have no problem with this, we don't have any as well, Danzo said in a monotone. Very well then, from today Namikaze Naruto will be known as Uzumaki Naruto until he is capable of protecting himself. And him being Kyuubi Jinchuriki will be a SS class secret, and anyone who disclose it will be immediately executed. Now with this council meeting is officially ended, Sandame said as every member present in chamber started leaving one by one. Later same day, somewhere underground Konoha, Danzo is sitting in his throne-like chair thinking about what he is going to do once he gets Naruto under his thumb, until he felt 10 Chakra's signature approaching him. Danzo-sama, you summoned us, all kneeling figures said at the same time. As Danzo came out of his stupor and glanced towards his most trusted Anbu, or also known as Root. Yes, get into village and start a rumor that Yondaime Hokage wasn't able to kill Kyuubi no Kitsune, and it has taken human form, more specific of a child named Uzumaki Naruto. Am I clear? Danzo asked, while tossing a picture of Naruto towards them. Hi Danzo-sama. All of them said at the same time and disappeared in a leaf sunshine, leaving Danzo alone with his thoughts. Soon, very soon, Hiruzen, my men will spread this rumor and Naruto will be treated like an outcast. His life will be a living hell, and then you will be forced to give him to me. I will turn him into a weapon that will take Konoha to its righteous place on top. And my dream of becoming Hokage will finally come true, he thought while laughing like a maniac. After council meeting and Naruto's placement in Golden Leaf Orphanage, a rumor started spreading all across village hidden in the leaves, which results in nearly whole population march towards Golden Leaf with a single intention, and that is to kill the so-called Kyuubi reincarnate, 1-week-old child named Uzumaki Naruto. But their march was cut short by 10 squares of Anbu and Sandaime Hokage himself. From that day a new law established in village of Konoha, that anyone who talks about incident happened on October 10th with their family or with others will be immediately executed without any trails. But even after new law the hatred and fear of unknown in hearts of villagers did not cease to exits. And since then there is always a Chunin squad guarding the orphanage. Who does not lift even a single finger to stop regular beating, torture, sneer of hatred and disgust villagers gives a certain blonde-haired 6-year-old kid, Uzumaki Naruto, does not helps the situation at all. Now we found the hero of our story sitting on the windowsill staring at the Hokage Tower and the street which leads there with his azure blue eyes in his dimly lit room provided by orphanage, in which he has spent 6 miserable years of his life. Shunned by other kids, starved for days without any food, regular beating by shinobi and civilian alike. As long as he can remember he is an outcast, shunned by society, other kids and the old warden of orphanage. He is treated like a monster in disguise, even lower than insect. The only ray of light in his lonely and painful life is Sarutobi Hiruzen Sandaime Hokage, or as he calls him, Ji-chan, and 2 Anbu officers, one with cat mask and other with weasel mask. He always visits him once in a week and treats him like a human unlike other villagers. But this week he had not visited him like always, which leads to the current situation of him sitting at the windowsill and searching for any signs of his Ji-chan. After staring for about 1 hour he sighed and closed his eyes, only to open them again when he heard sound of footsteps coming towards his room. He shot up from his position with a warm and excited smile on his face. He is excited, all right, it's been nearly a whole week since he saw his Ji-chan. But his smile immediately dropped when he saw a familiar face of Mira, warden of Golden Leaf Orphanage, and one of the meanest people he has the displeasure to meet in his short life. Mira is an old woman in her early 60s wearing a long blue kimono, with long white hair and cold dark brown eyes which are currently trying to bore a hole through Naruto's head. Naruto turned his head away from the women in disgust, completely missing the satisfied smirk on her face. "What do you want?" he asked without turning his head. Mira's smirk grew even wider. "Nothing, we are having pest control in orphanage today, so I bought some people to clean the filth." She spat last words venomously. Naruto raised a blonde eyebrow in confusion. He knows about pest control, and if he remembered correctly it happened once before. But Mira never cared before, so why now? He turned his head glaring straight into women's eyes before asking, "What's this really about? It's not like you to care about your resident, demon brat." Mira laughed ominously. "You are right, I don't care about you, demon, but I do care about other kids. And I don't want you to corrupt their souls. That's why today we are going to exterminate the pest who is plaguing this village for past 6 years. Since Sandaime is busy in monthly village council meeting right now, there is no one who is going to stop us. Today we will finish what our Yondaime started 6 years ago." After saying what she wanted to say, she clapped twice and 3 armed men came into Naruto's orphanage room with swords and different weapons strapped on their body and a twisted smirk on their faces. Naruto knew what's going to happen now. It's not first time it's going to happen after all. The only reason he is still alive and is not in hospital bed or in coma due to his regular beatings is because of his unusual and rapid healing. But these are not regular people who came to beat him up often. There is something different about them. This was the moment he noticed Konoha Hite 8 on their forehead. Naruto stiffened and took a step back. He really don't want to know where this is going. But before he can even try to escape, he felt immense pain in his left leg. Looking down, his eyes grew wide by seeing a kunai sticking in his leg. "There is no escape for you today, demon. We are going to end your pathetic existence today and free our village. We will be hailed as heroes," one of the attackers said, laughing evilly. Naruto tried to crawl towards the window to escape, but before he could make it, a fist planted painfully on his solar plexus, knocking the wind out of his lungs with a knee to stomach. Followed soon after, Naruto skidded back until he hit his head with the corner of his bed. Blood started dripping out of his head, coloring his sun-kissed blonde hair in blood red. Next, men came forward with a kunai in his hand. "You are going to pay for what you did to my father, you demon," he shouted and plunged his kunai in Naruto's kneecap before repeating the procedure a few more times with other one as well. Their attention was brought back by a coughing sound coming from their back. "As much as I like watching this little show, and I do like watching this demon suffer for his sins, I don't want whole orphanage reeking of his filthy blood. So can you please take this outside? And I am sure there is a lot of people who will be more than willing to join our little celebration, she said with an evil gleam in her eyes. All shinobi present at times smirked and nodded while knocking Naruto out with a chop on the back of his neck. While all of this going on, nobody know that they are being watched from another roof. Nearby rooftop, 3 figures can be seen on the roof of an 2-story apartment complex in front of Golden Leaf Orphanage. Can't we do something about this? A redhead woman shouted, tears streaming down her face while watching the person she loved the most in the whole world getting beaten by some low-life shinobi. This was not the first time Naruto getting beaten by villagers. But this time shinobi are involved and she is getting worried about the life of the person she cherished the most even before his birth. Kushi, a blonde man, tried to say something only to get interrupted by a sword slash from distressed redhead, cutting him clean in 2 pieces, but it didn't seem to affect him since a moment later he was reformed like nothing happened. Shut up Namikaze Minato, if you aren't fucking dead then I surely would have killed you, roared Kushina. Only other remaining figure stayed silent through all of this while watching everything happening to blonde Jinchuriki with a grim look on her face. But nobody can see it since she is wearing an Oni mask on her face, from which only her golden eyes can be seen, which are filled with sadness and disgust. Sadness because it was she who sealed Kyuubi no Kitsune in him and fated him of a life full of loneliness. And disgust for the people of this village who cannot look above their hate and blindly taking their anger on a 6-year-old kid. Even though she has given him some of her power, all that power won't be able to help him if he can't activate it on his own. Kushina, please listen to me, Minato pleaded, but his pleas fell on deaf ears as Kushina kept charging at him while crying because of her lack in strength for protecting her own son. It's all your fault Minato, it's all your bloody damn fault. Look at him, look what's happening to him, all because of you, Kushina screamed while still slashing at Minato without getting any result at all. Minato stopped dodging her strikes and lowered his head so that his hair are shadowing his eyes before speaking, I don't have any choice. At that time sealing Kyuubi in Naruto-kun is the only way to save the village. And that's what I did as a Hokage. Saying that Kushina was angry will be an understatement. She is pissed, no, she is royally pissed. She clenched her fists so tightly that she would be bleeding if she had a physical body. Don't you dare talk about my Naruto-kun like that. He is our son, for gods. I don't think you have any right to call yourself his father. After what you have done to him. It is even worse than one enemy did with another. What do you think, he is a piece of meat that you can sacrifice whenever you like? She shouted. More tears ran down her face by watching Naruto getting stabbed in kneecap again and again. His cry of agony shattering her heart into pieces. That is the only way to save everyone. I thought that my people will be able to Minato was interrupted again by the one who kept silent throughout this whole ordeal. I warned you that day, mortal, about the life you will be living, but power was more important to you than your child. Even the first ever Jinchuriki was not able to live a stable life. Wherever he went, people worshipped him as a living god, but he was also feared because of his powers. What made you think that these people will be any different? Shinigami said just as coldly as always. What else was I supposed to do? Minato shouted. Don't forget your place, mortal. Shinigami bellowed in anger and flared a bit of her ki, which sent Minato crashing down on his knees. Just because she is not burning his soul does not mean that she will let this puny human take his frustration on her. And to answer your question, you have already used the incomplete contract. That means that your soul will be struck in my gourd for eternity. So if you want, you can just seal Kyuubi in yourself and be done with it. Because when I sucked your soul, Kyuubi would also be sucked with your soul, and there is no way even Kyuubi can alter or escape a seal made by me. At this point Kushina was grinding her teeth in anger towards Minato. Where is that gentle person she had fallen in love with gone, or is he always like this, just she wasn't able to see it until now? Every word that escaped Shinigami's mouth was like a sword piercing her heart, or what was left of it after watching Naruto's condition. After hearing that all of this can be prevented and Naruto can be saved from this hell, she lost it and charged at Minato once again. All the love she once holds for this man now gone, the only thing she wants right now is to kill him again, if that is even possible. But before she could reach him, Shinigami stopped her with a hand on her shoulder. She turned around so that she could give Death God a piece of her mind. But stopped when she saw the same fury she is feeling right now in other women's eye. After stopping Kushina in her futile attempts to harm Minato, she continued, Now, as I was saying before, you did have a choice by which you can save Naruto from all of this pain. But like any other human, you put power before you family. You wanted to give your village a weapon after Kyuubi's attack to show other villages that you still holds most powerful Baiju. After finishing, she let a sigh escape her lips. It's not like her to get all worked up like that. Minato didn't say anything, just hung his head as low as possible. After all, he knew what Shinigami just told his is the truth without any sugarcoat on it. He also noticed Kushina's hateful glare towards him, and he really can't blame her. No matter how much he told himself that sealing Kyuubi in Naruto was the only option, but inside he knew that there was another option, that is to seal it in himself and be done with it once and for all. Even if he doesn't want to admit, he did use Naruto as a weapon to scare other villages who might get an idea to attack them when they are weak. But he really is regretting his decision now after watching everything that happened with his 6-year-old kid. It looks like they are taking him somewhere else, Shinigami told them in a grim voice, not really liking where this is going. Shinigami-sama, can't we something to help Naruto-kun? Kushina asked hopefully, thinking that maybe Shinigami can do something to help Naruto. Shinigami just shook her head before responding. What do you think you can do in your astral form? Kushina lowered her head. She knew in astral form there is nothing she can physically do in living world, but maybe Shinigami can do something. I can't do anything as well. It's a rule of celestial planes that we cannot get involved with mortals if they are not your summoner or familiar. I can help him if he awakens the power I gave him, but until then there is nothing I can do, Shinigami explained. Kushina nodded before all three of them went after Shinobi, who has taken Naruto with them. 45 minutes later, forest of Konohagakure. Naruto groggily opened his eyes only to close them again second later as he felt a wave of pain coming from his legs. He tried to move his arms, but they wouldn't bulge. Slowly opening his eyes once again, he saw that he is chained by a tree in what looks like East Forest. Naruto turned his side, trying to figure out where he is and why is he chained to this tree out in nowhere. Suddenly memories of his encounter with 3 shinobi flooded back in his mind. Look everyone, the demon is up, came a male voice. At this point Naruto's eyes have become accustomed to his surrounding, and is wide-eyed, watching nearly 50 if not more civilian and a few shinobi equipped with many weapons surrounded him with a wicked grin on faces. What's going on? What do you want with me? Asked shivering Naruto, while hoping that someone will come and rescue him. You bastard monster fox, my wife, my son, my whole family is dead because of yous. Don't try to act all innocent in front of us, screamed a tall man with a wooden plank in his hand. Now you will pay for everything you have done. Today we will avenge our Yondaime, you bastard fox, he shouted while smashing Naruto's head with his wooden plank. No, please. I haven't done anything like that. Why do you always say that? I haven't done anything to any of us, so why do you keep beating me up? Naruto asked while blood came flying out as another civilian plunged him with a metal rod in his stomach. Don't fuck with me, you demon, you killed my husband and my son, shouted a woman before attacking him with a kitchen knife, cutting and stabbing him all over his left arm. Naruto's cries of agony can be heard throughout the forest, but everyone else present in the clearing had a satisfied smile on their faces. While watching the so-called demon suffer in pain, please let me Naruto's cried once again as a katana was stabbed in his shoulder joint, dislocating it from socket. Now you see, that's how we felt when you kill everyone we loved and destroyed our village, said a man in Chunin attire with a ninjutsu in his right hand. Let me go, Naruto pleaded weakly. But before he could say anything, a kick planted swiftly on side of his head. Receiving a painful scream from Blonde, followed up by a barrage kicks on his chest. A villager nearby snorted while breaking his sake bottle on forest floor before striking Naruto in chest. Blood gushed out from Naruto's chest while all other bystanders started laughing like a maniac. Serves you right, demon, came many voices from the group of people, if they can still be called that. What have Eid done to DD Dese Rvetttth is S? Naruto asked to no one. Every memory flashed through his mind, and even then he cannot find any memory of him destroying village or killing other villagers. Then why did everyone hate him so much? You have done absolutely nothing, a melodious voice of woman came. Naruto frantically started looking everywhere to search for the source of voice. But only thing or one he saw everywhere is villagers grinning at him. Who or why you? He asked out loud. All villagers started looking at each other to understand what he meant by that, but shrugged by saying demon going insane. Just close your eyes and let everything go, same voice said once again. Naruto compelled without any questions. A few seconds later a warm but chaotic sensation flooded his sensory system. Last thing he remembered before going into blissful unconsciousness was all the smug look and wicked grin villagers were sprouting up until now was changed in a look of horror and fear. He don't know why, but he felt satisfied to see the people who were beating him up until now are covering in fear. As Naruto drifted into unconsciousness, red chakra started to seep out from his body. Everyone in the clearing took a few steps back in fear. All civilians present in the area are on their knees at his point. The bloodlust and killing intent the blonde is emitting is maddening to say. At least some of them are lucky enough to have already passed out. But those with strong-willed are now taking blunt of two tails worth. Kyuubi's Yuki. More senior ninja tried to flee the soon-to-be execution field. Since none of them present here are above Chunin level, so they have no chance in defeating Kyuubi Jinchuriki while the steering wheel is in Kyuubi's hand. A low animalistic growl escaped Naruto's throat as he launched himself towards the covering shinobi and civilian, brutally slaughtering everyone present. On a tree branch near execution field, Shinigami and Minato are watching the torture with hardened gaze, while Kushina is openly sobbing while watching these pathetic villagers keep torturing Naruto. It frustrates her to no end that she had to just sit and watch while hoping that someone will find Naruto soon. As she was thinking this, a villager stabbed him with a broken sake bottle and glacier of blood shot out of his chest. Watching him losing consciousness made her heart clenched painfully in her chest. Minato's eyes widened watching Naruto's body started covering into Kyuubi's Yuki. Shinigami-sama, what's happening? Is the seal broken? Minato shouted until Shinigami sent him a glare that clearly stated that say one more word and I will burn your soul in 7th floor of hell. Don't mock me, mortal, I am the best fuinjutsu user in whole celestial planes. And that seal is not normal, it's made up of ki no shi. It will not break or weaken even if the host is weak or dying. If that's true, then that only means Naruto-kun has willingly given Kyuubi control of his body. I just hope you know what you are doing, son, he thought. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto woke up by sound of water dripping. He looked around only to find himself in some kind of sewer. Just a second ago he was been tortured by stupid villagers, then suddenly he heard a feminine voice telling him to let go, and now he is in a sewer. Did that unknown woman saved him? That's the only thought going on in his mind. Until now nobody tried to help him apart from Sandame Gigi, Cat and Weasel Mask Danbo. These are the only people in whole village who never treated him like dirt, and always rescued him whenever someone hurt him. But that voice he heard before was definitely belonged to a female. And he can easily tell that it does not belongs to Neko-ne. That voice was soft and melodious but holds power. Such power he never felt before in his life. Not even Gigi has that kind of authority and power in his voice while stating something to other shinobi. Naruto came out of his mussing so that he can find out some sort of exit. While he was walking he noticed something odd about this sewer. It has 3 pipes, one of them is nearly twice in size of his head, glowing red, while other 2 are very small and are glowing blue and white respectively. He also noticed one more thing, that even though he is in a sewer there is no foul smell. That usually came from sewer. He shrugged and kept looking for an exit. After nearly roaming for 1 hour he came in a dimly lit large room with large golden door, seems to be kept in place by a piece of paper. There is something written on it in kanji. After trying for a minute he nodded his head in satisfaction, finally understanding what's written on it. Seal, he said to himself. Come closer, Naruto, Kamesami, melodious voice from behind the bar. He hesitantly took a step towards the door to see the woman who helped him escape idiot villagers. He looked around in search of the women before responding. I am really grateful for your help out there. If it wasn't for you, who knows what more they would have done to me. The voice snorted in amusement while watching him from the shadows. Those meatbags have it coming for a long time. And it's very tiring to heal you nearly every day after they beat the snort out of you, she said, snickering at last part. Naruto's eyes widened. This woman who saved him from villagers just now is the same one who is taking care of him for as long as he can remember, healing him whenever those bastard villagers beat him into unconsciousness. He took a step closer towards the iron bars. Now really want to see this woman who was there for him when no one was. He took a step inside of golden bars and a blinding light filled the whole area. Once it died down, he rubbed his eyes to get rid of the stars he is seeing. Once his eyes adjusted with new light, it widened again when he get a good look of the women standing nearly 20 feet away from him. There in front of him, standing at a towering height of 6 feet 1 or 6 feet 2, a fair-skinned and crimson-haired woman. In her mid-20s, wearing a long blue kimono with red fox pattern on it with a red obi holding it together. She has a perfect heart-shaped face, but the most enticing feature about it is a pair of crimson-slitted eyes, which seems to be looking directly in your soul. Where are we and who are you? Naruto can't help but stutter. Just standing in her presence is exhilarating to say at least. He can feel the immense power radiating from her. Before today he has never such power coming from anyone. In comparison of her, Sandame Ji-chan is like a toddler, a bald toddler, but toddler nonetheless. He came out of his mushings when she started walking towards him. He couldn't help but took a step back. Watching her coming towards him is like watching a top predator stalking its prey. After what seems like hours for Naruto, she stopped just in front of him and bent down on her knees so that they are eye level. Well, to answer your questions, this is your mindscape. And before you ask, it's a place deep inside your mind. And about your second question, I am. She took a dramatic pause to build some suspense. Kyuubi. Kyuubi no Kitsune, she said with a proud smile. My mindscape and Kyuubi no Kitsune. He took a pause to analyze this new situation. If this is my mindscape, then what are you doing here? He asked. Kyuubi raised an amused crimson eyebrow at boy's reaction. There are not many no erase that there is no one in whole elemental nations who can stand still without shaking in fear after knowing who she really is. Maybe this host has more backbone than previous ones. It's simple. I am sealed inside you. Do you remember that black circle on your stomach that sometimes appear? She paused to look at Naruto, nodding before continuing. That's the seal because of which I am trapped in you. Is it true? Why you said earlier about healing me every time when I was injured? He asked in a low whisper but with a hint of hope in his voice, completely brushing of the sealing part. Kyuubi chuckled a bit. Of course it was me. Who else? She didn't get to finish her sentence as a golden blur tackled her, nearly knocking her off balance. The first thing came in her mind is to rip his throat off his body for attacking her, but stopped herself when a choked sob escaped him. She took a calming breath and placed a hand hesitantly on his back, trying to comfort him as much as she can. But because of being a mass of hatred, or as usually people think of her, as she don't know what to do in this kind of situation. The only other human contact she ever had was with her father, and it's been nearly, if not more than 10 millennium since his death. Naruto stopped crying after nearly 10 minutes. Before wiping his eyes and saying, "Sorry I ruined your kimono." Kyuubi looked down. Her kimono really is drenched in tears in front part. "Don't worry about it, Naruto," she said in soft voice, surprising even herself. Naruto bowed deeply in a way that his forehead was touching the ground. Thank you for everything you have done for me until now. If it wasn't for you, I would be dead a long time ago. Thank you," he said, still bowing. Kyuubi's expression softened a bit. "I was just doing what I had to do to ensure our survival. Since I am sealed inside you, if you die then so will I. That's how this seal works," she explained. "You said you were sealed inside me. How did that happen?" he asked in genuine curiosity. She took a pause to gather her thoughts. "Well, it's a very interesting story. I was sealed inside you on the day of your birth. Do you know the story about the fight between me and your Yondaime?" She glanced at Naruto and continued after receiving a nod from said boy. "That story is not fully true. He didn't kill me. Hell, he wasn't even able to put a scratch on me. So that bastard summoned Shinigami and sealed me into you at cost of his own life." Naruto absorbed every piece of this new information before nodding a few times to himself. Then it finally hit him like a ton of bricks. Now he finally understood why everyone hates him, why he is called Demon Brat, and why everyone wants him dead. It makes perfect sense now. So I really am a demon then, he said to himself, but she can clearly hear him. At least it all makes sense now why everyone hates me and want me dead, he finished with a sad smile. Kyuubi started to laugh loudly for a few minutes before composing herself. A serious expression came on her face. "Now listen well, Naruto, you are not a demon. You are one of the most pure-hearted human I have ever met. If those damned villagers calls you a demon, then I should be considered an angel. Those villagers are just ignorant and are blinded by their hate. They think that by hurting you they are hurting me as well. But in reality they are just hurting a 6-year-old child. So I am not a demon, he asked. You are just as human as anyone else in that damn village. Humans always fear the unknown. Anything that they cannot understand they fear it. Fuinjutsu, the shinobi art by which I am sealed inside you, is very difficult to understand even in shinobi ranks, so there is no way civilian can understand it. They think that I am you, but in reality our situation is more like a scroll and kunai, in which I am the kunai and you are the scroll in which I am sealed. By sealing a kunai it does not change the whole scroll into one. Just like that you do have a demon sealed inside you, but it does not make you any less human than others if they can still be called as one though. At this point Naruto's whole body is shaking, not because of knowing that a demon is sealed inside of him, but because of the kindness that so-called demon has shown him in his entire life. You have to become strong, Naruto. Kyuubi's voice brought him out of his trance. This world in which we are living in is filled with hatred and malice. In future there will be many people who will try to hurt or kill you because of your power or for mine. You have to become strong to defend yourself. Naruto looked up at Kyuubi's crimson-slitted eyes with burning determination in his own before saying, I will become strong, the strongest shinobi this world has ever seen. Will you help me in becoming strong since we are in this together? What do you say, Kyuubi-chan? Kyuubi gasped in shock. She hadn't expected him to ask her for help. Hell, she was thinking that he will be pissed after hearing that she is the reason that his life is living hell. Her eyes widened in size of dinner platter after hearing his last word. Last person who dared to call her with that suffix died in most painful way anyone can imagine. But looking at his determined eyes she can't find it in herself to become angry with him. Don't ever call me that, she ordered with an icy glare. What do you mean, Kyuubi-chan? He asked, not really getting what she meant by that statement. She sighed in exasperation. That don't call me with that. Chan, suffix. Was the Naruto's intelligent answer. But I thought when you like someone you add chan in their name. Kyuubi gasped in shock once more. Did this human child just told her that he like her? You like me? She asked. Naruto tilted his head slightly, not really getting the whole point of this conversation. Of course I like you. You were really kind to me and now I don't have to worry about being alone anymore. Since I know you are always with me, he finished with a smile, completely missing the banging sound coming from near wall. What the hell was I thinking? I should have known better. He is a kid after all, she thought to herself and stopped banging her head with wall before addressing him. Alright, I will help you, but before that do something about this sewer. Naruto started scratching the back of his head, not understanding what can he do about this sewer. Kyuubi sighed. This is your mindscape, Naruto, you can do whatever you want in here. Just try imagining a different scenery in place of this sewer, she explained. Naruto nodded before sitting in lotus position to think a nice scenery for his mindscape. After a few minutes of thinking and trying to change the landscape of his mindscape, he opened his eyes by hearing a startled gasp. He observed his surrounding a bit before nodding in acceptance of his handiwork. Now in place of sewer is an field of flowers and a dense forest just a bit ahead with a valley and a river in his left. So how is it? He asked Kyuubi. Kyuubi was awestruck. This is actually really nice to think that the kid has such imaginative powers. He can become a genjutsu master with right training. It's really nice you can become a strong genjutsu user, you have nice imagination. Naruto blushed. It's not every day he got compliment, and certainly not from the strongest being in elemental nations. It really means a lot. I can sense a few chakra signature coming in your direction. You should go back now. We will talk about your training later, said Kyuubi before lying down on grass. So, what do I have to do if I want to come back again? Naruto asked. Nothing much, just try to meditate and I will bring you here, she replied before closing her eyes to take a nap on grassy field. But after some time, when his presence didn't disappear from his mindscape, she opened her eyes once again to ask why is he still here. He fidgeted a bit in his place. Anyo, how do I get out of here? He asked. Kyuubi facepalmed. This day keeps getting longer and longer. Can't a millennium-old demoness just lay in grass, lays around, relax? Is it too much to ask? She sighed once again, which she found herself doing incredibly lot today. Close your eyes and try imagining yourself in outside world. When you feel a pull, don't resist. Naruto nodded and disappeared from his mindscape. Now I have to think what I can teach him, thought Kyuubi, and started going through different training methods in her mind. Outside world. Naruto slowly opened his eyes, blinked a few times to get adjusted with sunlight, before pulling himself to his feet to see himself standing in a massive crater. What the hell happened here, he asked himself. Well, I kinda get overboard while we are talking, came Kyuubi's voice in his head. Kyuubi-chan, where are you? Naruto asked while frantically looking everywhere in hope to spot his first ever friend. Stop moving your head like an idiot, Naruto, you are making me dizzy. And I am still in seal if it's one of the function of this seal by which we can talk through our minds. With our shared senses. Oh, alright, and what do you mean by going a bit overboard? He asked. What I mean is while we were talking I took care of those pesky villagers. Naruto nodded and started walking outside of crater. When he walked out of the crater his eyes widened a bit by watching by all the people beating and torturing him, now lying on ground motionless, some of them missing sizable parts of their bodies. Naruto didn't move for a few seconds before started walking towards the village. Are you alright, Naruto? She knew Naruto have seen many things in his short life, but death is not one of them. And she is worried about her host. Yes, I am. Fine, they got what they deserved, Naruto stated rather coldly, surprising Kyuubi a bit. So what now, Kyuubi-chan? Kyuubi hummed a bit before responding. We will wait here for now. Everyone above Chunin level must have sensed my Yuki's spike and will be here soon. Then find that old man and ask him to give you an apartment. I don't think the orphanage will welcome you anymore, not after this incident. But don't tell that old buzzard about me contacting you or planning to train you, alright? Naruto nodded before sitting down. He knows the orphanage will not take him anymore and he himself don't want to go there. That place is a hellhole. Idea of living alone in a new apartment sounds good to him, but what he don't understand is why can't he tell Ji-chan about Kyuubi-chan and about his training with her. But before he can voice his concern she answered him. The reason why you cannot tell old man about me is because if he found out that I can contact you anytime then he may think I am trying to control you. And I am sure he will try to tighten the seal in his paranoia. Do you want me to train you or not? She asked him, receiving a nod which she cannot see. Then don't tell them about me, okay? Alright, Kyuubi-chan, I believe in you, he replied through their mental link. At the same time 4 figures came into clearing in regular Anbu uniform. He knows 3 of them but one of them is unfamiliar. Neko-ne, Naruto shouted and darted towards cat-masked Anbu. Naruto-kun, are you alright? You are not hurt, are you? Cat-masked Anbu asked him while checking him for any injuries. When she found none she ruffled his hair a bit, getting a cute pout from small blonde. Neko-ne, are you here to take me back? He asked while cat-masked Anbu nodded. Alright, then can you take me to Ji-chan's office? Since the orphanage kicked me out I want to ask him if he can get me a new apartment. She clenched her fists. She knew the blonde kid from the day she joined the Anbu forces. She also used to have same opinion about him like everyone else, but after spending some time guarding him from threats, she realized that he is just a 6-year-old child who have seen things that people twice of his age didn't. Well, we were going to take you back to orphanage, but now that we knew what happened it's best that we take you to Sandaime-sama, she said in warm tone. Naruto nodded before he and cat-masked Anbu disappeared in a leaf shunshin body flicker technique, leaving other Anbu to investigate the location. Hokage office. Sandaime Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen is pacing around in his office with a worried look on his face. Once in every week he always visits Naruto in orphanage, but today he had to attend village's monthly council meeting so he wasn't able to visit. But 10 minutes ago he sensed a spike of Kyuubi's Yuki and sent his most trusted Anbu towards Naruto's location. It's been 5 minutes now since the Anbu squad left and he can't help but worry about his surrogate grandson well-being. Just then he sensed 2 chakras signature teleporting in his office. He sighed in relief after watching Naruto in Cat's arms. Naruto-kun, are you alright? Asked the aged Hokage while looking at Naruto with a slight worry. I am alright, Ji-chan, don't worry, he said with a cheery smile. Well, I am glad that you are okay, Naruto-kun. You gave this old geezer quite a fright out there, Hiruzen said with a chuckle. Well, I was kinda kicked out of the orphanage by that bitch. She also called some shinobi to help her in so-called pest control. After that I don't remember anything and everything went blank. When I woke up again I was in middle of a crater, Naruto lied. Hiruzen lowered his head in shame. After all it's his duty to protect Naruto and he failed once again. I am sorry Naruto-kun, I failed to protect you again, he said in a low tone. Naruto shook his head. Don't worry about it, Ji-chan, I am perfectly fine. Can I ask you something though? He asked. Hiruzen nodded and Naruto continued. Can you give me my own apartment? He said, shocking Sandame. And can you enroll me in Ninja Academy as well? Sandame's jaw dropped, but magically his pipe remained in place until he retrieved his jaw back to its normal position. Well, as I said, that bitch kicked me out and I am pretty sure other will do the same. So can you arrange an apartment for me? And as for my second request, I can't stay weak, I have to become strong to survive in this world. And I will become the strongest shinobi to ever grace this world, Naruto said firmly. Hiruzen's eyes widened a bit as shadows of Shodame and Nidame manifested behind Naruto. His will of fire burns just as brightly as your sensei, he thought. Very well, Naruto-kun, I will enroll you into academy, but for now come on, we have to find an apartment for you. Hiruzen said with a warm smile. Naruto launched himself towards Sandame and hugged him as tightly as a 6-year-old can. After a few seconds he released the Hokage from his grip before following him outside the Hokage tower in search of his new apartment. Naruto glanced at the blue sky with a determined look on his face. I can't wait to start my training. I will become the strongest shinobi this world has ever seen, and you can believe that Datbayo. He thought. Naruto-kun, what are you doing? Come on, we have lots of things to do, Hiruzen shouted from his position. Naruto nodded and started running in Hiruzen's direction.
That's all for now. If you enjoy this video, then please like, share and do comments.